Hi, this is John Laney, and welcome to a short introductory course on turning conflict into caresses. Most of us deal with conflict in ways that cause damage. We attack, dominate, yell, argue at high volume. Or we withdraw. We give the silent treatment. We shut our partners out. We insult, we nag, we bitch, we harass, or we just feel hurt and unloved and like victims, right? So there's a lot of ways we deal with conflict that hurt us and our partner and our relationship. Some of the worst ways to deal with conflict, studies have shown these are relationship killers. First is to mock or insult your partner, put them down. Treat them with scorn. Second is to withdraw and give the silent treatment for hours or days, refuse to talk to them. And third is to, of course, verbally or physically abuse your mate. Right? If your anger gets to that level, you're seriously damaging the quality of your relationship. Okay, so how do you turn conflict into caresses? How do you argue in a good way? How do you have healthy conflict? Well, we'll dash through these 6 rules and give you some really powerful ideas on how to do that. And as you practice them, you will learn to get from conflict to caresses more quickly each time. Okay, rule number 1, conflict happens. We all have different needs, wants, desires, perspectives, right? We're individual adults. So don't measure your relationship against the ideal of no conflict. A lot of people seem to think that a good relationship has no or little conflict. That's not accurate. Instead, measure a relationship against how well you deal with conflict when it arises and how well you resolve it. Right? Resolving conflict is pretty much what you want to focus on in this area. Okay, rule number 2. This one is pretty obvious. Conflict causes crappy conduct. We scream, we swear, we slam doors, we refuse to talk for hours or days. And we can express by word and gesture contempt for our mate. We can attempt to dominate them or withdraw from them for hours or days at a time. Conflict has us acting oftentimes emotionally like we are 6 or 7 years old. So rule number 3 is to learn to not take it personally, that you take it personally. Now sure, when the conflict is happening, it's all personal and you feel attacked or not heard or not understood or not appreciated or whatever. But recognize that we all only go psycho for a short period of time. You argue for 5 minutes or something and you act like a 7 or 8-year-old, stamp your feet or throw things or whatever, but really after that, 5 minutes or 5 hours, we usually feel kind of embarrassed that we said that or that we did that, right? So don't take it so personally that you do take conflict personally. That one will sink in. Rule number 4. There is no weakness in forgiveness. That is a good thing to remember. You don't have to forgive all the way. You don't have to, in 5 minutes after an argument, feel like you've got to forgive your mate all the way or whatever. But you can get to a little forgiveness if you don't take it so personally. If you can start to chuckle about how you or they behaved like 7-year-olds. If you can start to chuckle a little about it after it happens, then you're making a good start. Okay, rule number 5. End the Cold War and reconnect as quickly as you can. See, after an argument, what happens is we both are like, well, are they going to get off it first, or who's going to apologize, or this distance and kind of silence grows up. And you or your mate may be furiously rewinding and replaying the argument, stewing in the injustice of it all, feeling so misunderstood and so wounded. So how long do you want the Cold War to continue? The longer it lasts, the more damage to the relationship. The faster you reconnect, the faster you get to caresses. So be the bigger person and reconnect first after an argument. You can just say something like, hey, hon, sorry that we fought. Are you doing okay? And there's lots of other ways to handle it, but just asking something like that can create a bridge and really help both of you to move past the argument. In resolving conflict healthily, you want to reconnect quickly rather than let the silence and distance linger, right? And then rule number 6 is communicate to resolve the issue. Now, not all arguments or flare-ups require some big, deep sit-down talk, right? But some will, because if an issue still remains after reconnecting, you don't want to ignore it just to avoid further conflict. I mean, if you're arguing over money or the kids or something that's going to continue, the problem is going to continue. You want to start to communicate to resolve the issue. Once you've calmed down, once things are cool, once you've reconnected. Now, here's some methods to resolve conflict in a healthy way. And one of the most powerful things you can do is go up to your mate and say, hey, what's important to you about this problem or issue? Give them a chance first to say what's important. What do you need? What do you want here? What do you want in this? And if you can listen to them and make them feel heard and understood, you don't have to agree, but nod your head and, look them in the eyes and make sure they feel heard, then you can say what's important to you about the issue. And after you've both said what's important to you, then you can just say, do you see a win-win here? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But if you don't, just let it go for a day or so, and reconnect about it later. You don't always have to figure things out right on the spot. So, conflict resolution is a bit of an art. There is a lot more to this. This is just a short introductory video. Each one of these steps, how to apply them, different ways to approach it, and whatever, take a lot longer to develop your relationship intelligence around it. But remember, if conflict is causing more damage to your relationship than you think it can bear, then get some training, Take some classes, read books about it, watch Dr. Phil on TV, get some counseling, whatever. Get some other perspectives, because you need to learn as an adult, an effective adult in a relationship, to deal with conflict healthily when it arises and to resolve it in a positive way. And you can get a complete course on this by going to forrelationshipadvicehelp.com. You can pause the video and type that into your browser now. But we're done. Just an introduction. Follow the 6 steps. Learn to practice them a bit more each time that you're in conflict or facing it. And you will, over time, begin to master a key to a healthy long-term relationship, which is how to deal with conflict well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.